Welcome to Auction version 4, the latest event management software tool from Auction Systems. In this tutorial, I will show you the name setting type. To change or add settings for the name entry panel, from the main Home task ribbon, choose Settings. For setting type, choose Name Settings. This is the Name Settings panel screen with the panels closed. The setting areas for names are Name Style, Bid Number, Default Location, Name Affiliations, and Volunteer Teams. A summary of the information in the settings chosen for each panel appears on the right of the closed panel. To change any of the settings for a panel, click the panel to open it. This is the Open Name Style panel. The default name style is standard. For example, if in a record the primary name is Thomas Smith and the secondary name in the record is Jennifer Smith, a standard style would appear on screen and in reports as Thomas and Jennifer Smith. If you include salutations such as Mr. for Thomas and Mrs. for Jennifer, and a suffix like Junior for Thomas, when you choose Formal as your default style, you would get Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Smith, Jr. Formal style always uses an "and" spelled out rather than the ampersand symbol between the names of couples in the same name record. Informal style pulls from the nickname field if that field has been populated, or from the first name field when no nickname has been entered. For example, if Thomas Smith has no nickname entered, but Jennifer Smith has Jenny entered in the nickname field, informal style would appear as Thomas and Jenny Smith, separated by the ampersand symbol, and not "and" spelled out. This is the Open Bid Number Style panel. The choices are 4 digits, which means the bid numbers for your guests can have up to 4 digits. And by the way, on the screen, leading zeros will appear, but you don't need to enter them. For instance, if you want to start bid numbering with the number 1, the first person or household to get a bid number will get number 1. On the screen, auction will show 0001 for this bidder when 4 digits is the default choice. But that is just on screen. Any name tag for the guest will print out with only a 1 for the bid number, and when entering winning bids, simply enter a 1, not 0001. The leading zeros are simply added by auction for sorting purposes on screen. The other choices are 7 digits and 10 digits. 7-digit bid numbers are often used when the bid number for the attendee will be their 7-digit phone number. And of course, 10 digits can be used when you want the guest to use their phone number, including area code, as their bid number. While bid numbers are not required in order to enter winning bids in Auction version 4, when you do use bid numbers, they are always numeric. Alpha characters are not allowed. The default location style is handy when you want to use some shortcuts filling in the address panel in a new name record. You can set some defaults here so that the address panel in a new name record will be auto-filled with the defaults. The default for any of these fields can be overwritten for an individual name record on a case-by-case basis in the data entry form for that specific record. But if virtually every one of your guests and/or donors is from the same city or town, enter it into the default city field in Settings. Same for state or province. If your town is small enough to have one zip code, set that field too. Country is not necessarily an important field to use for most organizations and can remain blank. But if your event will have some donations or attendees from another country, so you will be using this field, you can set the default country as the one where the majority of the people in your project are from. The list of possible name affiliations can be populated in the Name Settings area. Affiliations are helpful for filtering reports, documents, or exports to households or individuals that share a common characteristic. Examples of name affiliations could be school parent, or board members, or VIPs, or staff. You have 16 available affiliations, so you have plenty of possibilities if you need to make a subset of name records that share a common characteristic. Any name record can be assigned to more than one affiliation, and it is not necessary to select an affiliation for every name record in your database. Affiliation is not a required field. We recommend you do not use affiliations for grouping guests together to make sure they are all assigned to the same table at the event. Groups under Event Management Settings is a better place for keeping track of people that may need to sit together, and you can have unlimited number of groups. You're not limited to just 16 like you are for affiliations. Name affiliations is better used for filtering reports, documents, and exports to certain people that share a common characteristic. The list of possible volunteer teams is similar to affiliations and can also be populated in the Name Settings area. If you want to keep track of how your volunteers participated in your event, this is the place to make your list of volunteer tasks or teams. Liaison is the first volunteer team, and it is the only one that has been created for you. What is Liaison? In a donor's name entry form, there is a volunteer contact panel. You use that panel to record the name of the person on your committee who solicited the donation from the donor. When you pick a volunteer contact for a donor and then save the donor's name record, if the volunteer was not previously marked as a volunteer in their own name record, Auction will mark them as a volunteer for you and also mark the volunteer as part of the Liaison team. Of course, you have 15 more volunteer teams that you can create, such as Decorations Committee, Data Entry Team, Check-in Team, Cleanup Committee, etc. And of course, a volunteer can be part of more than one volunteer team. Reporting on who is a part of each volunteer team is a snap. Thank you for joining us.